Welcome to Grand Tap Media. My name is Pamela Keim, and we have created a show called Breathe in the Grand. Our mission is for you to meet your neighbors and connect to your community and learn about all the events, business, organizations, nonprofits, things that are happening. If you'd like anyone to be featured on our show, please let us know. Thank you and enjoy the show. Welcome, Western Michigan. This is Grand Tap Media, where you're going to breathe in the grand. My name is Pamela Keim from Keim Concept, and I have Will now as my what do you call it, trusted sidekick. He's going to be behind the scenes now, making sure the show runs smoothly. But I want to welcome you, and I have a very special guest. Michelle and I are very close. Michelle Steffes, and she is the president and CEO of IPV Consulting, and also you are the president and founder of Grand Rapids Business Breakfast, correct?
Co-founder, yes.
Co-founder. Yes. And I want to thank you here. We're very good friends, and you are, I'm going to tap right into it, okay, so that we can get people moving. But you are what we would consider a life coach, but now you call it like a performance coach.
Performance coach, yes.
And I will let you know that she used to be my life coach a few years back. And I want you to share with people, why should they get it, even though you see what I'm having with me today. But if somebody was watching, why should I get a life coach or a performance coach, and the value of that, and why is your service different than a lot of the other life coaches that I see out there? So I'm going to give it back to you to kind of share a little bit about that.
All right, well, thank you, Pamela. And first of all, thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm absolutely delighted to be here with you today.
I'm so excited to have you see me.
And very excited to see how far you've come. And wow, TV show and the whole nine yards.
No, it's very exciting.
That is excellent. So you just keep up the good work.
Thanks.
But as far as your question goes, you know, to have a life coach or performance coach, which is really what I am, means to put your life back in control, to take the steering wheel back. 85% of the population is living reactively. So in other words, I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm frustrated, this person hurt me. And they dwell on those things. And what happens is over a course of time, it develops mindsets. And this is all because of habits and routines that we tend to create for ourselves without even really realizing that we're doing it, and creating neural pathways and neural networks that steer us in a wrong direction. So unless we figure out a way to turn that around and begin to think differently, act differently, and manage our lives differently, then we'll continue on that path, and we will find ourselves nothing but frustrated, burned out, and oftentimes, and I'm seeing the numbers rising, of depression. So
depression is a very good thing,
it
and
is.
Then feeling failure at such a young age.
Yes,
what I'm seeing in that, and I'm lucky. I work with Will, who just wrote a book similar to what you've done. He's done it at 23, which is kind
fantastic.
of a really
Congratulations,
right?
Will. That's great.
And what I'm seeing out there more is just people having, and you may be seeing this too, their expectations of where they're supposed to be. And if they don't achieve it, somehow it's over, that they've failed. And I don't know where they get that, because when we were in our 20s, we were kind of developing ourselves. But if I were to meet you right now at Will's age, like 23, I can't imagine what my life would have been. And I met you in my I won't tell you, over 40, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
And I always tell it to Will, I mean, what his life could be to get a coach like you. And what you taught me when I was, working with you is that, Pamela, we got to disrupt this.
Yes.
This, I guess I would say, not good enough. Is that what I'm trying to use the word? Not feeling I can't achieve something.
That
this is my road,
right.
and there is no way off it. I've already set
feeling
my
stuck,
path.
basically, yeah.
Yeah, feeling stuck, dread.
Yes, I hear that word a lot.
And share with us what some of the services that you offer that help someone like that, because not only you do individual, you also do groups, you do companies. And I met you at a chamber event when you were doing a speech, and I was just blown away
thank you.
by your speech, and I never even thought about doing that for myself. And then when you said individually, but I want you to give it back to you, because I want to get all the information I can from you to share with everyone here. But tell us what's different about your program that has helped me succeed, and I'm sure you have other stories too.
Well, thank you again. Basically, what I do is I teach people how to create new success routines. And in fact, my book, which will be launched in the fall, is Your Journey to Greatness Through Routine. And it has to do with everything that you do from the moment you open your eyes in the morning till you close them at night. And you might think, well, how does that compare to a corporate situation? Well, I teach leaders this all the time because the deal is everything that you do is going to affect you personally and professionally. There's no way to separate the two. If you are in distress and you're depressed and you're frustrated and you're thinking bad thoughts constantly off the job, you're certainly going to carry it with you on the job. And if not those thoughts, you're at least going to carry the digestive issues you have and the brain fog and the brain fatigue. So we need to turn all of that around. So what I've done is I've taught people how to have a behavioral management or a change in their routine. And I do that through brain training. Now, that sounds like a complex term, but basically brain training is something that, we all need to do, and really we don't even realize we're doing it. Even as children, we're training our brains through the education system. So learning new concepts, ideas, and skills. And as you do that, you're growing what's called neural pathways. And it starts out with a dendrite, which is kind of like a tree-looking substance. It's a brownish, pinkish, and it begins to grow out as you keep thinking those same thoughts over and over again, growing into a neural pathway. But you're never growing just one neural pathway, you're growing a whole network of neural pathways. And these pathways are forming how you think and perceive. But here's the kicker on it, Pamela, and this has directly related to what you just asked me. We have both negative and positive neural networks that we've grown. And if I was to dump, say, you have 60,000 thoughts a day, okay? And if we were to create some sort of a scale on this table right here and dump all of your neural networks and pathways out on the table and measure them on the scale, which way would it tip, negative or positive? Because typically, if it's tipping more to the negative, that means you have built more negative neural networks than positive ones, and it's affecting every part of your life. So how you see success, how you see business, how you see leadership, how you see relationships with other people. But the cool thing is neuroplasticity, and I'm sure many of our audiences heard that term before, is very real. And what that is in its exchange. So as you start to fire off and you have 400 billion actions per second of magnetic electricity going off in your brain, as you fire that off and you continue to fire it in a different direction deliberately, which is where the routine comes in.
Right.
Then what happens is the old neural networks that you had before begin to denature. They literally fall apart. Because
I will tell you my experience with you, right? I mean, when I started this, honestly, when you said it was an 8-week program that we sat down and what you sent me every day, but this, what happened was, and you probably didn't, you knew this was going to happen because you said it after everything started to happen, but when I started this routine and I started getting this practice and changing this mindset, and you critiqued the program for me, what level I was at, and then all of a sudden I was doing it for my professional world. Yes. And so I wanted my career to change. I wanted more opportunities. And what I discovered was once you start correcting that, it goes into your personal and my networking. And all of a sudden you said, I was going to tell you that, Pamela, but I didn't want to overwhelm you. But once you get on this path, you start seeing that you're stronger in your personal relationships. Maybe if you're coming to you with some issues, right?
Yes.
That you feel like you have more confidence.
Right.
And stuff. And that's what I started to experience when I started doing your program. And I really looked forward, and I guess it gave me accountability, and then when meeting with you, where are you at, and reaching the goals that I have. But the one thing I will tell you, and I have to share this, was when we first sat down, you go, you need to tell me your strengths. And I didn't even know my strengths. Nothing to share with you, honestly. She was, you reach out to some of your friends. And I did that. And when I got back, I was astounded at one of my strengths. And I think that really woke me up to, people don't see themselves.
No, they don't.
Sometimes. Do you get that?
Yes, absolutely. I see that all the time. In fact, I have many clients who have started businesses as a result of the coaching, and they didn't even go into it thinking that's what they were going to do.
Right.
Because you really you realize who you really are and what your potential is. And as you continue to grow the right neural networks like we just talked about and let go of the bad ones that were affecting you, you start to see the world through altogether different eyes. And it just changes the game. But also, it changes your physiology, which you know. Okay?
Right.
So what happens is instead of being high in cortisol, which actually paralyzes the frontal cortex of your brain, causing nutritional issues and sleep issues and nervous issues and brain fog, as you lower the cortisol, which happens as a result of changing the neural pathways and networks, then your serotonin and dopamine go up, and you have the ability to achieve at so much higher levels, and you feel better about yourself. You just tend to have more energy, you feel more vibrant, you feel more alive, and your potential just expands. Absolutely.
You're more confident in making
Absolutely.
decisions and
Everything
having
changes.
Exactly. And then, of course, in hearing what other people saw you. You know, we don't see ourselves as that person. Like, people will tell me things, I'm like, is that what you see? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that you're getting out there. But now there's a lot of life coaches out there, and you know that. And what is different about your program as opposed to the other ones that people are seeing I actually was at a BNI today. There was a life coach in
Right.
there. You know what I mean? So I wanted to say there's a few out there.
Yeah, there is definitely a big competition in that area. But what mine is so different because it's a tangible product, basically. So what they get is they get daily brain training, okay?
Right.
So they're going to get something from me every day to work on their brain and push it in the direction of 5 goals that they get to select. So it's very customized. Also, a personal vision statement is created. So that personal vision statement becomes kind of the crux of the foundation that we move towards, keeping it in front of them. They also get daily routine development training, which we talked about already a little bit.
Right.
They also get a lot of things to read and listen to. Now, you might be thinking already, wow, how much time does this take? Well, basically, it's about 10 minutes at the beginning of the week and 10 at the end, with a little bit of reading in between, but everything else is done alongside of the schedule. So a lot of audio, a lot of listening to things. And honestly, it's about exchanges. So, if you're currently spending too much time on TV or social media, exchange that for something that educates you, inspires you, or pushes you towards your destiny.
Now, when I met you a few years back, you were sending me all these videos. Now, are you doing your own videos now? Or your own voice? Like, that would have been helpful in the car to hear your voice, like Pamela. But are you starting to think about doing it? If you're not, are you thinking about doing it, getting it out there? Like, you've sent me videos of all of these motivational to keep me going.
Yes.
Right? Are you starting to create them yourselves so that people like me, when you're helping me, I can hear your voice in the car?
Yes.
I can hear that. Are you doing?
I am doing more videos. A lot of them are professionally done, so it takes some time to put those together.
Right.
I'm probably a little bit too picky sometimes. I need to just get on the air and just do a video. And I have done some of those as well. In fact, if you go to my YouTube channel, you'd be able to view quite a few that have been made.
Right, I've seen them on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And I've been following you on that.
So they are out there. The degree that I have, I still haven't reached my goal, so I still have to work on that.
Right.
So that's in process.
Well, and then Zoom conference. I mean, that's another way for us would have been connecting. That's come out since you've been my coach. But real quickly, I'm going to ask you a few more questions. What types of services besides individual? What exactly do you offer? Because you've grown as a company. You have your new office now in Byron Center, which is kind of exciting. So, what other services have you developed since last time we've spent time together like this?
Well, as you know, I've always been a speaker, and I'm speaking nationally, at different locations. Did the entire city of Novi, so, all of the government, EMS, first responders, police officers, and have done, large associations and so forth. I've done 5 state regional at the Amway Grand Plaza. But I'm also just absolutely loving corporate training. So I have something that I founded about 2 years ago. It's called IPV Group Coaching. And it's founded in emotional intelligence, which I'm a huge advocate of emotional intelligence. So there are 12 total sessions that are offered. You can take 6 or you can take 12. And I typically suggest that leaders take them every month. Okay. And they can bring together their whole team or leaders. It can be done virtually, so long distance. But these are 12 different topics. And the cool thing about this program is there are 3 parts to it. So the first part is the educational part, where I teach on the topic that's related to emotional intelligence. And then the second part is where we get them up and have them working on solutions together, collaboratively. Okay. And then the last part is a mastermind session. I don't know if you know what mastermind is. That you
well, I mean, to me, mastermind that I've been part of, it's just been of people of yourself and me. They get together and we come together and we help each other out. We share
exactly.
things. Right.
Very well said. Yes, very well said. So yes, the last part of it, whether we have 20 minutes left, 10 minutes left, 30 minutes left, we'll make it a mastermind session, putting them into groups so they can build off from each other. So that's what makes it so unique from any other corporate training program.
Right.
And my most recent client actually was nominated as Best and Brightest Company from West Michigan this past year. Very proud of them.
Wow.
And not only that, but I'm getting, whenever I do surveys, I get a lot of feedback. Wow, this is affecting my personal and professional life. To me, that's a win. That's a win.
Is my video still out there with you that I did?
Oh yeah,
Remember that one?
absolutely, yes.
You look and see how far I've come,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely,
I
yes.
look at that sometimes. I go to your website and testimony. I'm thinking, wow, I've come a long way.
Yes,
since
you have.
We've had
You
that
have
one.
done marvelously. But see, that's the thing. Is it takes the person to actually, pull themselves up by their bootstraps and make it happen, and you've done that. You've worked very hard, and you deserve everything that you have.
Oh, thank you. So what's new? You have a book coming out.
Yes.
Okay, and that's you said that's coming out in September? Is it all done?
September, October, somewhere in there. I mean, my publisher's really in charge of that.
Okay, that's true. That's
yes,
true.
yep.
It's called what again?
It is Your Journey to Greatness Through Routine.
A routine. Yeah, I was
And
going to say
it
that's
has-
been.
Yes, that's everything that we just talked about and more.
Okay, real quickly, I'm in Toastmasters, you know that, and you knew
Yes.
that when we joined. I just started doing Toastmasters, and you helped me get into that, dealing with public speaking and getting up, and it's such a fear, but you can't believe the power you get when you start getting better at it. I have a
Yes.
speech tomorrow. I told
Oh,
you at Women's
fantastic.
Life.
That is wonderful.
But what do you get? Is that the type of client you get? Somebody that needs to overcome something of that sort, like public speaking or just getting out there and networking? Because that's what I found when I was doing Success Team workshops. That was one of the things that were blocking people, was that they had to do that whole networking and present
Yeah, yeah.
their idea to a group of people. Is that still something that you specialize in? Because you helped me do that. But I mean, are you still helping people overcome those kind of fears?
Yes, absolutely. Because what we're doing is we're retraining their brain. And we're pulling out the best in them. But you're absolutely spot on when you say that, because according to statistics, that is the number one fear people have, is public speaking outside of death.
Right. I mean, I had the tightening of the throat. Remember, we went over all that, Pamela, you know what I mean? But I was
yes, it
terrified.
is.
And now here I am. I'm on television.
You're doing fantastic.
And then I got
yes.
speeches coming up. I mean, there's going to be 5 to 7, but that's perfect for me.
Yeah, it
and
is.
keep it short and sweet, because people are in a hurry. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, can you believe I pinch myself? I tell Will,
It's
I mean, if
amazing.
you would have known me when I first met Michelle, she's like,
And the best is yet to come, my
yeah,
friend.
yeah, I'm excited about
Yes,
on
absolutely.
That. Now you're looking at somebody like Will. Like I said, what would you say to somebody
I will.
like Will that's starting out? He's got his company. He's going to go. He's trying to take it national, so he's going out in September and going to stay at. Get this, Michelle. He's going to stay at 50 states.
Nice.
And he's going to spread the battle of the gains is what he wants to do. And he's wrote a book. But even that, what would you say someone like that, if you could talk to him at 23, you're talking to people out there at 23 years old, just got out of college, has a little debt, as we know some of these kids do.
Yeah, I know,
And
it's hard.
some of them don't even
Yeah.
know what that first step or what direction. I feel sometimes just they feel dread. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
how to explain it more than that.
I see it a lot. It's a very sad thing that I see. But I want to say to Will, wow, okay, very commendable. Applause to you, because at that age is absolutely marvelous decision that you've made. But also you're kind of rare, okay? So my first advice is ignore the critics, because you're going to get them. And you'll get people, trying to tell you you can't, and this is why you shouldn't. Ignore it all, because you have to pursue your dream, and you're the one at the end of life that has to live with whatever decisions you've made. But you can do anything that you set your heart and mind to, as long as you get the training, and that is something you can even do on your own. As you continue to build yourself, as I said, with brain training, educational, inspirational, motivational materials that will help push you towards your destiny. But always keep that vision in front of you. Always see that, visualize it as if it's real, and make it happen for yourself. Excellent. You're doing great.
So what are you up to now? What's coming? What do you have coming up?
Well, I have a lot of training coming up and actually I have some new contracts that are coming to fruition. Very excited about them. I won't name any names right now.
Okay.
But as I said,
No
very
name
excited
dropping,
about
right?
the book. I would like to share a couple of quick stories if I have time
Oh
for that.
yeah, please do. Please
Okay.
do.
All right. So one of my favorites is a gal named Katie. Okay. She's actually on the business. I'm on the Better Business Bureau. You'll find her testimony there.
Okay.
Very proud of her. She's going to be in my book, and actually, I put you in my book too.
I'm
Uh-huh,
so
we're gonna talk-
excited.
yep,
Right?
yep. But anyway, she was clinically depressed for 10 years. And she had tried, counselors and therapy and, medication, the whole 9 yards. and nothing was pulling her out of it. Well, so she was reluctant to take on the coaching, but just like you, she met me at an event. It was a company event for her entire organization I had spoke at. So she thought, well, I've tried everything else, I might as well try it. So she did the coaching program, and after 5 weeks, it had transformed her so much that her mother called me on a Saturday morning at 7:48 in the morning, which was really odd for the phone to ring at that time in my office.
Right.
And she said, is this Michelle Steffes? And I said, yes. She says, are you coaching Katie so-and-so? And I said, yes. And I'm thinking, okay, what's up? And she says, she goes, thank you for giving me my daughter back. And she actually started tearing up. And it's hard for me to tell this story sometimes because I really love people.
Right.
And I love to see people win. And that's where my heart just beats. So that's why it's one of my favorite stories. But she ended up, her and her husband actually chipped in, and they did another 6 months of coaching, and now she's been promoted twice since then. And she's just soaring, and she's just not even the same person that she once was. And so I'm not saying that because I'm necessarily saying that I have the cure for depression, because I don't. All right, I would never ever make that claim. Depression is very dangerous, but my point is that you can retrain your brain. You can work on things that will reverse a lot of the physiological, chemical changes that happen in our body that create imbalance. So that's one of the stories I wanted to share, and if I have time, I'm going to share another one.
Okay, sure.
A man named Jared, he's also on, you'll find him online, Google. He was a police officer for 26 years. And he was stuck. I mean, he felt stuck, absolutely stuck. And so he came to me after, again, a corporate event. It was the one at City of Novi. And he said, I just can't seem to move forward. I don't know quite what to do. He says, I'm not getting, I'm dropping hints, but I'm not getting it from, where I need to get it from. And so he says, can you help me? And so we worked on the program together. He set in his vision statement to become chief of police in 1 year, which is reasonable, because running for chief of police is like running for office. First, you have to find an opening, and usually that only happens if somebody retires or they die. You know what I mean?
Right,
so
right.
That's a rarity in itself. But then once the opening comes, then you literally have to go through several hoops to get there. Well, he ended up, long story short here, in 5 weeks he achieved chief of police in City of Saline. So to this day, he is the chief of police in City of Saline. He's told me, he says, you ever get out to Saline, you make sure you come and say hi to me. I want to have a cup of coffee with you. But the fun part of this journey was watching him progress through these stages and actually having to be interviewed in front of the entire community, thinking that he wasn't going to make it,
Right.
And yet, continuing to encourage him. And sure enough, that night, I think it was like 10:05, I received a text message that said, I got it, and it's all because of you. And of course, he's, he and I both believe that God is the reason that we, we get where we go. But anyways, he's just an exciting story, because for somebody to make their dreams come to fruition in 5 weeks is pretty significant. But he was very diligent to the program, and he did everything that he needed to do to retrain his brain, gain the confidence that he needed, and to see his vision fully to fruition. And So one more mention on both stories is the law of attraction, and I don't know if the audience knows much about the law of attraction.
You hear that a lot. And can you just a little bit? I mean, Will understands it totally, because we're really good friends now that we do the show, right?
Yes.
So we're sharing stories. Talk a little bit about that real quickly. Law of attraction, that's the buzzword.
Yes.
Do you still believe in it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Now, it sounds spooky if you've never heard it before, law of attraction. Oh, come on, what's that? That's weird. Okay. No, it's not weird. It's the same as law of lift, law of gravity, and many other laws out there. And basically, it happens because of heart science. All right, so I'm going to share a little bit on heart science so you can make a connection here scientifically.
Okay.
And we can give it some foundation. All right? So basically, your heart and your head are always communicating. You have 40,000 specialized neurons in your heart, and then you have 100 billion neurons in your brain. But yet your heart magnifies the electromagnetic energy at a stronger level than your brain, much stronger. Okay.
Okay.
And so you might think, well, that's crazy. How do you figure it has energy? Well, first of all, it has electricity, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to resuscitate you with a defib. Okay.
Right.
So we know
makes
that,
sense, yeah.
right? But when you are around somebody that can't stand you, can you feel that energy?
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Okay. When you're walking into a room and two people are fighting, can you feel that energy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When you're around a dog, can he sense fear if you're afraid, or
Yes.
any animal for that matter? So energy is very real, and there's a place that I love research. And Will, if you're not familiar with this, Heart Math Institute, are you familiar with Heart Math? Okay. Go to heartmath.org. You will love it. But heartmath.org has done a ton of studies on the heart, and they measure it based on emotion. And they use something, and I always forget that it's an acronym that's SQUID, big long words, okay? But they use this device to measure based on emotion. So emotions that are very high in measurement, we're talking 6 to 8 feet in measurement, which is as far as the machine will go, are gratitude and compassion. Along with that, love, kindness, peace, forgiveness, all of those wonderful warm emotions, very, very warm. Well, even if I take out the heart energy, and that's what I'm expressing to you, are you drawn to me?
Right.
Yeah, you would be, right?
Well, oh yeah. Well,
Okay.
we all know this, going out
Right.
networking. There's people that have walls.
Yes.
They're saying everything nice, but you're like, you
Yes.
just know, right? You walk away and say, this isn't a good fit, or I don't feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, because there's that energy that they're emitting. Okay,
Yes.
and typically it's an inner turmoil that they have going on, so it's not anything personal, but you're picking up on it. Okay, so when you get to the energy of, say, cooperation, then you have something around 200 to 350 magnetometers.
Right.
Right. So the top ones are 500 to 600, and the bottom ones, like offense, anger, bitterness, unforgiveness, those are between 20 and 100. So you actually become a repulse. And that's that wall
that's exactly
that you're
it.
picking up on.
I'm going to say my speech tomorrow on Women's Life is going to be all about the foundation. The foundation of networking is gratitude.
It is.
And then you move from there.
Yes,
and
gratitude is
that's
huge.
gratitude, and then forgiveness, and then they've done research on that arthritis. They could think that it can be linked to a lot of
absolutely
unforgiveness.
is. It
Have you
is.
not read that? I've
Also,
read that.
osteoporosis is linked to unforgiveness as well. Okay,
Right,
so
and that's
rottenness
the
of the
whole-
bones. So they're all related, but back to the punchline on this and why this is related to the law of attraction. Okay.
Oh, yeah, good.
And you're getting the short form on this, but basically everything around us is energy, right? We learned that in school, did we not? Okay, this table is energy.
Right. Just love different
Okay,
levels.
everything
right.
is energy. So if you have high energies, you're going to be drawing to you and opening doors to situations because of that energy, that warm energy. Whereas if you have repulsive energy, really low, then you're actually pushing away opportunities, shutting doors, and creating, basically closed windows every time you turn around.
Are you catching all this, Will?
Does this make
Battle
sense?
of the Gains. When you tell people all this stuff.
It's really cool. Go to heartmath.org. They have a lot of resources there that you can check out and pull down. I also have resources on my website that you can pull down and check out and see some
Well,
of this.
I know you'll come back, so we're going to wrap this up. I want you to quickly tell how to contact you. Is it through Facebook? Is it your website to learn more about your services and what you have to offer?
Well, first of all, you can go to michellesteffes.com or ipvconsulting.com. Actually, I have several call numbers on that. But you can go there and find a lot of the information, and you'll also find the links to my social media sites, including Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm on all of them. Again, you can find IPV Consulting or Michelle Steffes. And then I'm on the Better Business Bureau. You can go there, IPV Consulting as well.
Okay.
So those are the main channels that I would give out. And you can reach me at 616-805-8059.
I'll say it one more time.
616-805-8059.
Okay. All right. I know you'll come back because once your book gets moved and it starts, I can't wait to have you back. But we'll have you back in the fall. I appreciate you coming because you've been a
thank
dear
you. I
friend, and I'm
appreciate
so
it.
glad you were able to see everything that's happening in my life. And of course, we always communicate through that, and that's always been great. But anything you learn, please send it my way that you think would be helpful at our
Absolutely.
success.
Oh, well,
right?
you keep up the good work.
All right.
It's been
Thank you
an
so
absolute
much, and
pleasure.
we'll
Thank
talk
you,
again
Pamela.
soon.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you.